Hi ladies and gents, my name's Jack Griffiths, and it's my great pleasure and fortune to have been invited out to Milano to come to see the guys at Cornerstone, check out some new stuff, and also some stuff that isn't brand new to the market, but it's actually brand new to me. So I'm checking out the Colosseum, which I think has been out for maybe half a year, 6 months, something like that, maybe a little longer. But it's the first time I've actually got to try one, and when this came out, on paper at least, this is kind of my perfect overdrive pedal, because for me, I like kind of lower gain sounding drives most of the time that work with an amp that's already quite loud and has a little bit of compression. So I don't need a whole lot of gain. What I like is pedals that have loads of clarity, and those pedals to me, the Blues Breaker circuit, and then for a solo sound, I always gravitate to a Klon of some sort. So this should be the ultimate overdrive pedal for me. So I'm happy to report that it's very, very impressive. Even just playing it for not a very long time today, but it just has those characters that I really like. It's very open, it's very loud as well, which was the first thing I noticed was how low I had to set the volume levels before it was already kind of at unity gain with the clean sound of the amp. So to me, if I was to break down each side, focus on the BB side first, the Blues Breaker side, that kind of sound to me, it has to be open, it has to be bright and clear as well. I kind of think that Blues Breaker is almost a bad name for what that pedal actually was, because it's not just a blues sound. To me, it kind of takes the core sound of the guitar and the amp, and it just makes it all a little bit bigger, just kind of explodes it, if you like. So the way I've got it set right now is very low. The gain and volume are both about 9 o'clock, but the tone's quite high, up around 2 o'clock. And I'm using a bit of the clean blend too, which is really important. And again, I noted this on another Cornerstone pedal before. Anytime you see this clean blend, don't be fooled into thinking that that's going to make it kind of thinner and brighter and cleaner when you turn it up. It actually just makes it bigger. It makes your sound overall get much larger. So I'll show you the dry tone, which is this gorgeous Cornerstone Aurora with a Bad Cat Cub and a silver face Fender Bassman. That's already a great sound, but like I said, this Blues Breaker side just kind of explodes the sound, makes it bigger. So to me, that's exactly what I want that kind of pedal to do. It's so open though, because Emilio removed all the clipping diodes from the circuit, which you would traditionally find in a Blues Breaker style circuit. So what that means for the sound is that it just becomes really big, really wide and really open. And if I turn the gain up from there, so it's quite low right now, as I turn the gain up, you'll hear the tone just gets bigger, but you still have the clarity in the string separation because of this clean blend. So I'm going to turn both of them up together, and you'll see what I mean. So I like that a lot, but I'm just going to turn it down once again to where I had it. Everything kind of clean and the gain set about 9 o'clock. That just works for me because it just makes it bigger. I already have a sound I really like, and that pedal just gives me a little bit more of that. But I kind of think of it as like it's just lifting the whole sound almost in an even way, kind of all the frequencies across the board. What the other side, the K side, does for me is it gives me, like I said, it's perfect for a solo because it gives a nice mid-range push Now some people use a tube screamer like the Antique to do that as well. But the thing I love about a Klon circuit is, again, how open it is. And it kind of sounds like there's just more coming off the guitar. It's kind of a hard thing to explain. There's definitely a bump in the mid-range, there's definitely a bump in the volume, but once again, I've got the gain way down about 9 o'clock. I've actually got the volume only at about 10 o'clock, and even there, it's giving me a nice lift. So again, I'll show you what it sounds like with nothing, and I'll turn the K side on too. So on purpose, I was playing this really kind of very percussive thing to show what this does to the notes. It kind of makes the notes bloom and blossom in a really nice way, but it just sounds like the guitar. It doesn't sound like I have this pedal that's really coloring the sound in a very dramatic way. It's just making it bigger. So whereas the BB side kind of makes the sound bigger this way, I feel like the K side makes it bigger this way. So when you have the two together, which I'll turn both on at the same time, and I've got them stacked with the BB going into the K side, so the tone just gets really, really big, but it still sounds like this guitar into those amplifiers. And that's what I love about these kind of pedals. It doesn't radically change the sound. You can still hear that I'm playing this kind of guitar and I'm still playing those kind of amplifiers. So let me show you what they sound like together. Yeah, so that's a sound that for me, I have enough gain there to be able to play some lead lines, but the most important thing for me that I like is that I can stop, and even without touching the guitar controls, I can just lighten up my touch and get not a clean sound, but a lighter sound. I can really just vary all the dynamics of the sound just off the guitar, and at that point the pedal is basically just emerging as part of the rig. It's really that important to the sound. It's not like a kind of, okay, now it's time to turn on my distortion pedal. When I turn this on, you kind of almost can't tell if it's on, and that means, I mean that in the best possible way. It's doing its job right, because it just sounds like it melds with the guitar, melds with the amp, and that's exactly what I like out of both of these types of circuits. And the fact that you have them in one box, and you still have some extra controls to shape the sound. You have the 4 inputs and outputs as well, so you can route it on a pedal board with some kind of loop switcher and all that kind of clever stuff. This is a really nice alternative to the Imperium. I really love the Imperium because it has its own character, much more of a kind of stronger, silkier, smoother mid-range in that pedal. This to me is kind of like the angrier little brother that sounds a little bit more aggressive. And I think they both work really, really nicely together. So those are my first impressions of the Colosseum. I'm very glad that I finally got to try it, especially in Italy with this guitar, with these amps. I think everything just came together really nicely for this video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. But it's been my absolute pleasure to play for you the Cornerstone Colosseum, and I'll play you out with some more BB tones. Thanks a lot.